Hello, one and all present here. This is Amit Kumar Singh. A warm good morning to all of you. I hope you are having a great time. And the objective of this session, why I came to meet all of you, is to teach you a very important topic, uh, divisibility rule. So, in competitive exam, when we are trying to solve any questions, every question is made of something called numbers. Numbers are the building block of mathematics problem. So, whenever we are trying to solve a mathematical problem, whenever we are trying to solve some number crunching in data interpretation, we see lot of numbers around us. And when we see these numbers, lot of numbers around us, these numbers are made of very discrete units. Those discrete units are called as digits. Digits in the decimal system are either 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. We have 10 digits, and when we see these 10 digits and we see complex mathematical formulation, we need to use our brain to dig numbers and understand what we can use to find the answer of the problem. When we are trying to dig our brain to find the answer of the problem, the very important thing what we need to always remember is something called divisibility rule. Okay, so today in this session, what I'm going to talk about divisibility rule of numbers. So when we talk about divisibility rule of numbers, let's start with 2. So now, when we talk about 2, everyone knows 2 is an even number. And what is the divisibility rule of 2? The divisibility rule of 2 is that any number which is an even number, they are divisible by 2. Everyone, I think from life, I think from 6th standard kid, everyone knows this fact that what is the divisibility rule of 2. So for a 2 to be number to be divisible, the number should be even. And we all know this. Okay. So for the 2, what we see whenever we talk about divisibility, so if I talk about 2, we know the rule. We see the last digit. We see the last digit. And the last digit should be even. So what is the divisibility rule of 4? So we know that 4 is 2 square. So for the divisibility rule of 4, what we do, we see the last two digits. We see the last two digits. And if the last two digit is divisible by 4, means the number is divisible by 4. For example, any number, simply any number, 8, 9, 6, 4, 3, 2, 9, 8. If I ask you this number, is this number divisible by 4? I'll just see the last two digit. So the last two digit of this number is 98. So is 98 divisible by 4? No. No, right? 98. 98. So if you divide 98 by 4, what you will? 4 2s are 8, 1 carry 18. 18 is not divisible by 4. It is not divisible by 4. So when we talk about 8, what is divisibility rule of 8? For the 8, you see the last three digits. For the 8, you will see the last three digits. Now talking about the same number, if I talk about this same number, 290, this number, is this number divisible by 8? I'll just see the last three digit. So 298, 8 threes are 24. So I'll get 58. Now 58 is not divisible by 8. So this number is not divisible by 8. Simple. Now simply if I talk about 16, if I talk about 16, so for 16 what you will see the last four digit. Okay, simple, same logic. I hope you understand. Now everyone understand what will be the divisibility rule of 32. Everyone can easily predict what will be the divisibility rule of 64. Then 128. I hope there's no point of discussing all this. Right? So I hope you understood this fact. Now going further, if I talk about the divisibility of 3, if I talk about divisibility of 3, so for the divisibility of 3, what we do? For the divisibility of 3, what we do? We simply see the sum of digits. So if this number is 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 9, 8, what I'll do? I'll simply do the sum of the digit. So 8 plus 7, 15, 15 plus 10, 25, 25 plus 5, 30, 30 plus 9, 39, 39 plus 8, 47. Now 47, now when you talk about 47, is 47 divisible by 3? So if you know the table of 3 is well and good, you can easily know the answer. Otherwise, simply add. Okay, the 4 plus 7, if you add, you will get 11, and 11 is not divisible by 3, means this number is not divisible by 3. Now many people will think, sir, why you are doing like this? Why? What is the reason, sir? What is the reason for to predict the number of the divisibility of 3? Why you added only, sir? Yake means why? Why you added it? Why not you multiplied, sir? Why you simply added, sir? 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 9 plus 8. Why you added? Because you have to understand one thing. For that, you have to understand the remainder theorem concept. So if you have to understand this fact that whenever I talk about 3, so it doesn't matter the value of the 3. Like for example, if I give you number called 1 2 3 4, so 1 2 3 4 is what? 1 into 10 to the power 3, 1000 plus 2 into 10 to the power 2, okay, 200, then 3 into 10 to the power 1 plus 4 into 1. We all know this. So it doesn't matter. So here these values doesn't matter to us. Why it doesn't matter to us? Because you have to understand that 10 to the power n, when it is divided by 3, the remainder is always plus 1. Okay, so you have to understand this part. So divide 10 by 3. What is the remainder? 1. Okay, 100 by 3. What is the remainder? 1. 1000 by 3. What is the remainder? 1. Okay, so here the when you talk about a number, so the value, the position value of the number doesn't matter here. What matters is only the face value. So in order to work on the divisibility rule of 3, so what matters is just the face value of the digit. Position value of the digit doesn't matter here. That's why for the divisibility rule of 3, we simply add the sum of the digit. If the sum of the digit is divisible by 3, means our work is done. The same logic we use for 9. Okay, so 10 to the power n, if you divide by 9, you will get the remainder 1. So the same logic we use for 9. For 9 also, you simply do the sum of the digit. So if the sum of digit is divisible by 9, means the number is divisible by 9. The same logic what I told you for 3, the same logic you can use for 9. Okay, now talking about 5. Now, if I talk about the divisibility rule of 5, so if I talk about the divisibility, if I talk about the divisibility rule of 5, if I talk the divisibility rule of 5, so for the 5, what is the divisibility rule? That the last digit of the number, should be either 0, should be either 0 or 5. Okay, so this we use for the divisibility rule of 5. Okay, so all the divisibility rule, whatever I'm discussing here, either I'm discussing about 3 or 5, or I'm talking about 4, all this is being applied in solving the problems on permutation combination also. Okay, so keep that thing is also in your mind. So it doesn't, so the PNC, what is PNC? Permutation combination is just an advanced form of counting. So the same logic we use there also. Okay, now going further for the divisibility rule of 6, if I talk about the divisibility rule of 6, if I talk about the divisibility rule of 6, with the divisibility rule of 6, in that what we use, we see the divisibility rule of 2 and 3. Okay, so 2 and 3, 2 is that number should be even, and 3 is that the sum of digits should be divisible. Okay, now divisibility rule of 7 I talk about later, 8 already I talked about, 9 already I talked about, 10, the divisibility rule of 10 is that the last digit should be 0, that's it. When we talk about 11 divisibility rule, I'll talk about further. If I talk about divisibility rule of 12, if I talk about divisibility rule of 12, so for the divisibility rule of 12, what we'll see, for the divisibility rule of 12, what we see, we just see the 3 and 4. We just see the divisibility rule of 3 and 4. Means that those pair you will see which should be co-prime to each other. 13 I will talk about, 14 2 and 7. Okay, 15 3 and 5, 16 already I talked about, 17 I will talked about, 17 I will talk in future, 18 is 2 and 9. Okay, 19 you simply divide to check. Okay, now talking about, which number should we take? Okay, let's discuss the divisibility rule of 7 and 13. So divisibility rule of 7 and 13 all follow the same pattern. So divisibility rule of 7 and 13, so they follow the same pattern. Okay, now the pattern what I'm telling you for 7, the same pattern you can use for 13 also. Okay, now talking about divisibility rule of 7 and 13, if number is small number, you can easily do. I'll tell you the number which are more than 3-digit number. If the number is 2-digit or 3-digit, I believe everyone knows the table of 7 and 13. So I don't think anyone will have any problem for 7 and 13. for a small number. Talking about big number, the first I'll tell you the logic. So always understand 10 to the power 3. If you divide it by 7, you'll get the remainder minus 1. 1000 divided by 7. You simply do 1000 divided by 7. 1000 divided by 7. 7 ones are 7, 30. 7 fours are 28. You'll get 20. Then this is 3s are 21. So if 10 to the power 3, if you divide by 7, we'll get the remainder minus 1. So then 10 to the power 6, if you divide by 7, you'll get the remainder plus 1. Okay, now I hope you can divide and check. Same logic we use for 13 also. So the 13, 10 to the power 3, if you divide it by 13, you'll get the remainder minus 1. And 10 to the power 6, if you divide by 13, you'll get the remainder plus 1. So what? So that 7 and 13, the logic is same. So whenever you get a number, doesn't matter how big is the numbers, whatever, some number like 5, 2, 8, 9, 6, some numbers randomly I wrote. What you do, divide the number in triplets, make triplets. Why triplets, sir? Why you're doing triplets, sir? Because I'm talking in 10 powers. I just found a pattern. What is a pattern? That for the 7 and 13, 10 to the power 3 is giving a remainder minus 1. And so if 10 to the power 3 gives a remainder minus 1, so automatically 10 to the power 6 will give a remainder plus 1 value. Everyone who have basic knowledge of remainder theorem, they can easily understand what I'm talking about. So what you do, make a triplets. So make a triplet of number. So try to divide the number in different parts, make it triplets, and then you can put opposite sign on the triplet. You can put opposite sign on the triplet, and then simply what you do, like this is 896 minus 52. So how much you'll get? You'll get 844. Okay, now 844, is it divisible by 7? You can easily check. No, is it not divisible by 7? Is it divisible by 13? 13 6 is 78, 64. No, it's not divisible by 13. It means this number is not divisible by I. It means 52896 is not divisible either by 7, either by 13. Very simple. So it doesn't matter how is the number, how big or small is the number. Any number, 7, 2, 8, 9, 6, 3, any number, or 4, anything like that. So what you do, make a triplet. So plus, minus, sorry, ignore this. So simply I'm writing the number again, 7289634. So plus, minus, plus. So make a triplet like this. So you make a triplet like this. Okay. Now plus plus triplet, put opposite sign. The reason I explained you. So 634 plus 7 is how much? Is 731. 634 plus 7 is 741. Okay, 634 plus 7 is 741 minus 289. So if you minus 289, how much you will get? So you'll get 13. So this is 5. 8 plus 5, 13. Then this is 4. This is 4. So this is 11, 14. This is 7. 452. Is 452 divisible by 7? No. Is 452 divisible by 13? So 13, 39. So 62. No. So means this number is not divisible by neither 7 or neither 13. That logic. Talking about 11, if I talk about divisibility rule of 11, so if I talk about the divisibility of 11, divisibility rule of 11, what we use in divisibility rule of 11, you have to understand that 10 to the power 11, if you divide 10 by 11, you'll get the remainder minus 1. 100 divided by 11, if you do, you'll get the remainder plus 1. 1000 divided by 11, if you do, you'll get the remainder minus 1. So you have to understand this pattern, that odd places is giving minus 1 remainder, even like, sorry, if the number has total number of odd zeros, it is giving you a remainder minus 1. If a number is having even number of zeros, it's giving a remainder plus 1. So what you will do, you simply divide the number. If you get a number, some number like 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 4, 2, something, what you will do, you divide the number, take the alternate numbers. Okay, now I add these alternate numbers, 9 plus 7 plus 3 plus 2, then subtract with the odd and even places. So 8 plus 6 plus 4. Now what is the value you will get? This is what? 9 plus 7, 16. 16 plus 5, 21. 21 minus, this is 14. 14, 18. So you are getting a difference as S3. So the difference should be either 0 or the value which can be divisible by 11. Okay. Now see one problem. So I'll show you one problem. So you can see this problem. So let's go down. So what is the value in this problem? What is the value of m and n respectively? This is your number. What is your number? M39048458n, and this number is divisible by 8 and 11. Okay, so you have to find a value of m and n. This number divisible by 8 and 11. So what is the divisibility rule of 8? Last 3 digits. So 5, 8, n. This should be divisible by 8. So 8 sevens are 56. So you're getting 2. So in 8 table, if the 10th place is 2, what should be the unit place? What should be the value of n? N should be 4. So I got the value of n, very easy. So m 3904845884. Okay. Now what to do? I have to find now n. This I'll take the alternate digits. So this alternate digit, 9 plus 4, 9 plus 4, 13. 13 plus 4, 17. 17 plus 8, 25. So this is 25 plus m. This is minus 3. 3 plus 0, 3. 3 plus 8, 11. 11 plus 5, 16. 16 plus 4, 20. So the difference should be, now the difference should be 0. Now when you see the difference should be 0, or it should be divisible by 11, or you should get a number which should be divisible by 11. Okay. Now, so if you see, you are getting a value called 5 plus m. Okay. Now bringing that side, m will not serve any objective, hai na? So then the m value you get negative. So the m can't be negative. So then what can be the value of m? So it should be either 0, or you should get a value which should be divisible. So you are using a divisibility rule of 11. So what should be the value of m? So for the number, because it's given this number divisible by 11, means then the m should be 6. Then only the number can be divisible by 11. Simple. So I hope you understand the logic. So this logic we use for 11. The same logic, this logic we use for 11. Talking for 17, divisibility rule of 17. If I talk about divisibility rule of 17, divisibility rule of 17, if I talk about, so what we do for the divisibility rule of 17, suppose you got some number like, doesn't matter what is that number, 8, 9, 4, 6, 3, some number I got, simply I wrote a number. So is this number divisible by 17? So for 17, what you will do, you simply ignore the unit digit. So ignore the unit digit, whatever is your unit digit, ignore it. So then write the remaining number. The remaining number is 8946. So whatever was your unit digit, multiply that unit digit with 5. So 3 5s are 15. So subtract 15 to this number. So if you subtract 15 to this number, you will get 8931. Okay. Now what you will do, again the same thing. So ignore the unit digit, multiply this with 5. So you'll get 893 minus 5. So if you get 893 minus 5, you'll get 888. Okay, you'll get 888. Now, for is 888 divisible by 17? Gotilla, sir. I don't know, sir. Okay, fine. So what you'll do? Ignore the unit digit. So 88 minus 8, 8 5s are 40. So you'll get 48. Now, can you use the 40? Can you try? Is 48 divisible by 17? Is 48 divisible by 17? So 48, no, sir. 17 2s are 34, 17 3s are 51. That is the divisibility rule of 17. In 17, what you did, you ignore the unit digit, you remove the unit digit, you multiply it by the 5. and then you subtracted the remaining number from the product of unit digit into 5, then whatever value you get, again you remove the unit digit of that, you multiply that with 5, and then you subtracted the number from that, and you keep doing till the time you can't get the simplest value. So the logic what I told you for 17, the same logic we use, we same logic whatever I told you for 17, the same logic will apply for 31, the same logic we apply for 37, 41 and 46, 47. Only thing the value, like for 17 I multiply the unit digit with 5, for 31 you multiply it with 3, for 37 you multiply with 11, for 41 you multiply with 4, and for 47 you multiply with 14. The same logic you use, the logic what I told you just now. So remember this divisibility rule will help you a lot in solving lot of questions in aptitude exam. Whenever you sit for aptitude exam, solving problems on data interpretation, uh, quantitative aptitude, these all are very important thing. You have to solve very fast. Nowadays, a new form of data interpretation came, that is called arithmetic DI. So you need to be very fast. You need to be very good with numbers. So I hope, I believe you will apply the techniques whatever I have told you. So now see this question. Let's do more question. Suppose, so here if you see, here they wrote this question. If you see this question number 1, I believe everyone can see my system. So a number when divided by certain divisor leaves a remainder 23. Okay, so when the twice of the number divided by the same divisor, the remainder was 11. Find the divisor. So how will you solve this problem? Okay. Now, how will you solve this problem? Okay. So how will you solve this problem? One minute. Let me paste it. I don't know where it got pasted. Just I got my number. This is my Word document. Let open another Word document. Paste it here. Okay. So a number when divided by certain divisor gives a remainder 23. You have to understand, right, very important thing of division. Whenever you divide, suppose you are dividing a number called 5. You are dividing a number 5 by 6. Okay. So what will be your remainder? Your remainder will be 5. Okay. Now understand one thing. If I double the number, if I make 5 10. Okay, so when I divide the 5 by 6, I got the remainder 5. So if I double the number and I divide the double of the number with 6, then then the remainder will also get double. So whatever happening with dividend, the same thing will happen with remainder also. Whatever the changes you make in dividend, the same changes will happen remainder. Okay, so your remainder here was 5. So you what you did, you multiplied the dividend by 2. The remainder will also be multiplied by 2. So your remainder will be 10. But everyone who knows basic maths, they know that whenever you divide a number by 6, your remainder can be either 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Your remainder can never be more than the number. I hope everyone understands this. Okay, so here, so your number cannot be more than 6. Your number can't be 6 or more than 6. Everyone can understand. Those I can write this, like those who like numbers, and those who can like mathematics, I can write like this. Okay, those who understand inequality, open bracket and close bracket, I can write like this. Okay, so your value, when you talk about, sorry, 1 minute. So when you talk about your remainder, your remainder, your your remainder, your remainder will be between 0 to 6, where 0 is inclusive, but it can't be 6. Okay, and or here next thing, your remainder should be integer. Okay, everyone can understand what I mean to say. Everyone understand what is open bracket, close bracket. Okay, so when you're dividing a number by 6, so if you doubling the dividend, then your remainder should also get double. But you know the remainder can't be 10 because 10 is more than 6. Okay, so 10 is more than 6. Okay, so how much 10 is more than 6? 10 is 4 more than 6. So that's why when you divide 10 by 6, you will get the remainder called 4. So the same logic we apply here. So when you divide a number by certain divisor, it leaves a remainder 23. Okay, so if you take the twice the number, if you double, if 23, if you double the number, remainder will also get double. Okay, just now I told you, if you double the number, then your remainder will also get double. Okay, so remainder also get double. Yes, then your remainder will be 46. Okay, so when you take the twice of the number, now your remainder is 11. Now your remainder is 11. Your remainder was supposed to be 46. How come your remainder will become 11? Because very simple logic. You have to understand, it means that the 46 was more than the divisor. Okay, so how much 46 is more than divisor? How much your 46 is more than divisor? So 46 minus your divisor. 46 minus your divisor, spelling is wrong. 46 minus your divisor is your new remainder. I hope everyone understand. Just now I did. Okay, so 46 minus your divisor, that is your remainder. How much new remainder they given? 11. So what is your divisor? What is your divisor? Your divisor is 35. Simple. Okay, so you have to understand this logic. So these logic are very important in competitive exam. Then, okay, now question number 3rd. So when a number is divided by 36, the remainder is 19. So you can write this in equation if you want. You can write this in the form of equation if you want. You can write this in the form of equation. So when a number is divided by 36, so the number is n, you divide it by 36, your remainder is 90. Your number, so everyone knows the formula that the dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder, and everyone knows this. So when a number is divided by 36, your remainder is 39. Okay, what will be the remainder when the number is divided by 12? Now this number, if you divide by 12, what is your remainder? Now you know that 36 is divisible by 12. So what will be the remainder here? 19 divided by 12. What is 19 divided by 12? 7. That is your answer. Simple. Okay. Simple. Okay. Now next question. Two numbers when divided by certain divisor leaves a remainder 431 and 379 respectively. When the sum of these two numbers divided by the same divisor, the remainder is 211. What is the divisor? So till now I hope you understood the concept. Okay, so if you do the sum of the number, then the remainder will also get sum. So what is 431 plus 379? Do the sum, 11, you will get 11. So your remainder is supposed to be 810. But in this problem, your remainder is not 812. Your remainder is 211. So what is your divisor? Your divisor is 810 minus 211. This is 9. This is 9. This is what? 7 minus 2? 599. That is your answer. Your answer is 599. Simple. Okay. Next thing. Now this is the problem of successive division. Okay. Now this is the problem of successive division. Let's copy this problem. So what do you mean by successive division? What do you mean by successive division? Successive division basically means, so whatever the number is, a certain number, this is called successive division. This is called successive division. Okay. So what do you mean successive division? Suppose this number was n. So a number when successfully divided by n, you divided it by 8. So maybe your quotient was q. So what it leave? It really leave a remainder called 3. Okay. Now, so a number when successfully divided by 8 and 11, it means that, what do you mean by successively? Successively means whatever the quotient you get. Now this quotient you will divide it by 11. Now you will divide this quotient by 11. So whatever the quotient you have here, that will become the dividend here. Now this you will divide by 11, and now it will leave a remainder called 7. Okay. Now they're asking you what is the remainder if you divide by 88. If you divide this number by 88. So this you can do logically, you can do mathematically, or you can do shortcut. I'll tell you both the way. So if you apply the formula here, so dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. So you write n is equal to 8 into q plus 3. Okay. Okay. Now in place of q, you know that q is equal to 11 into k, maybe here your quotient was k, plus 7. Okay, everyone understand? So if I put the equation 2 in equation 1, I can write n is equal to 8, 11k plus 7 plus 3. So your n is equal to 88k plus 56 plus 3. So your n is equal to 88k plus 59. Okay, this is your number. Now this is your number. So your number is 88k plus 59. The question is that your number is 88k plus 59. This is your number. Okay. So your question is that what is the remainder if you divide this number by 88? If you divide this number by 88, what will be the remainder? The remainder, what is the remainder here? 59. Because here 88 is divisible by 88. Then what will be the remainder here? 59. Imagine if in place of 88, imagine in place of 88, if this was written 87, then your answer would have been cannot be determined. To get the answer for this problem, this should be divisible by this. Otherwise, you never get the answer. Because you understand, very common sense. What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? When you see this, what is this? This is a divisor. Okay, so when you're dividing that, it should be divisible. Otherwise, not possible only. Okay. Now, next thing, same successive division problem only. Copy this to number. Okay, see this. So on dividing it, let's first delete this. We'll do that later on. So on dividing a certain number by 5, 7, and 8, the remainder are 2, 3, and 4. What will the remainder if the order of divisor reverse? So same logic will apply. Now I'll tell you the shortcut of doing this kind of problem. So what you'll do, you write your divisor. You write your divisor. Your divisors are 5, 7, and 8. And write your remainder. The remainder are 2, 3, and 4. So again, you can do this problem like the previous way. The way I told you, you divide this number by 5, you get the remainder 2. Then whatever the quotient you will get, you divide it by 7. Then you will get the remainder 3. Then whatever the quotient you will get, you divide it by 8, you will get the remainder 4. Now you get 3 equations, then you put substituting, then you will get the answer. That way, if you do, that will become very complicated. So the shortcut way of finding the number is to simply multiply the quotient. Multiply your divisors. What are the divisors you have? So here your divisor is 8 into 7 into 5. So 56 into 5. 56 into 5 is 280. 56 into 5. 56 into 5 is 280. So write 280k. Write 280k plus. 280k plus. Now how to find the remainder? Multiply this number. 7 4s are 28 plus 3. 28 plus 3, 31. 31 5s are 31 5s are 31 5s are 155 plus 2, 157. This is your number. Simple. So your number is 280k plus 157. Okay, so that your number is your number is 280k plus 157. So you can do it like very easily. You can do it very easily. You'll get the same value. Now, what is the question? What will be the remainder if the order of divisor reversed? Order of divisor means first you divide it by 8, then 7, then 5. So simple. So I assume, suppose my k is 0. Suppose my k is 0. I don't want to make the complicate 0. Complicate. If the k is 0, your number is 157. Okay. So if you reverse the order of divisor, you will divide this number by first by 8. 157 if you divide by 8. 8 ones are 8. So how much you will get? Here you will get 77. Then your quotient is 90. So this is 72. So what is the remainder? 5. So when you divide by 8, you will get the remainder 5. Now 19. Divide 19 by what? 7. If you divide 19 by 7, how much the remainder you will get? You will get 5. Okay. Now you get a quotient 2. Now divide 2 by 5. What is the remainder you will get? You will get the remainder called 2. So what is your answer? Your answer is, if you change the order of divisor, your answer is 5 comma 5 comma 2. Done. Clear, no? The simple. Okay. Now I hope you understood this. Okay. Now for this question, a number when divided by 7 and 5, you apply the same logic, 7 and 5. Your remainder are 4 and 2. What is the number? The number is 35k plus multiply 7 to the 14 plus 4. 14 plus 4, 18. This is your number. So if you divide this number by 35, so now 35 divisible. So what is your remainder? 80. Simple. I hope you understood. These all are very easy problem. Numbers are very important topic, guys. Even in exam like CAT, probably out of 34 questions, you can expect around 7 to 8 questions from numbers only. So numbers very important topic, guys. So make sure whenever you are solving any competitive exam, whenever you are practicing for any competitive exam, you have to make sure that you should be very good with numbers. Okay, so that is the very important thing, what you have to keep in your mind while preparing for every competitive exam. When you talk about numbers, so topics like progression, topics like what you say DI, you talk about topics like uh, uh, inequalities, everything is dependent on numbers only. So guys, you need to be very good with numbers. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed my session. So thank you everyone for your valuable time and patience. I hope it was quite learning for you. So keeping that faith in my mind, I'll wind up this class. Thank you everyone once again. God bless you.